I'm so grateful to you guys all being here. We just wanted to sit and talk with Sensei. Um, this is such a strange moment for everybody, and in some ways it's giving us a reason and an opportunity to get together like this. So Sensei, we want to mostly just have a conversation, but to start us off, we'd love to ask your advice about how we can really use this moment to deepen our training.
Okay, I'll remind me this question a little later, but I want to start with this. The moment is not strange, the moment is good. Because, some people like me practice 33 years Aikido, and not me, but most of the people never have a fight, never use these techniques in a real. And this kind of situation gives us an opportunity to see how far we are to the target, and if we are ready or not to accept this kind of situations. So actually, of course, small part of the day, but some part of the day I'm happy because of the situation. Mm-hmm. So let's say that the situation is shit and fuck in general, but this gives us different opportunities. Like I'm pretty sure in a whole my life I never work more than last 3 weeks, and every day I'm writing my books, 2 different books, almost done, both of them. And for last 7 days I finished something like 12 lectures. So I'm very productive right now, only because of the reason of situation. So I'm not sure how this will sound for you guys, but I'm very thankful about this situation. Finally, we have time for family. You know, all my life was flying to and flying from. And weekend seminars and then rest, be ready for flying again. And this way, my daughter, you know that I have daughter, she had a birthday yesterday. And my daughter grew up without me. And of course, because of all this traveling, I fucked up the family. First family, but second one is still existing, so no problem. And the situation is some kind of okay for me, because right now I'm pushed from fucking government to stay in home, of course. But staying home, I'm with my son, something like 20 hours per day. And of course, Yanitz is still working, but we are staying so much time together, and this is great. So let's enjoy the situation and not crying like babies, oh, what the fuck is this, why me, and bullshit like this. Just accept like a gift. Of course, every gift have a price, and we'll pay this price. Sooner or later, we'll get sick, and this is the way how this fucking virus will stop to existing, you know? So the situation is great. I like this situation. And what kind of question was this one?
So in keeping with what you're saying, Sensei, the question is, so what advice would you give us about how to really use this time as our training?
Okay. Well, basically, um, when you don't have any chance to be in a real dojo, like like a practice ukemi and contact with your partner physically, then there is another opportunity for you, and this means that you will start to practice with your mind, and you will start to practice with your heart, and you will start to understand what this means spirit, because the situation is push us to don't have any body, and now bodies doesn't existing, but we still have heart, we still have mind, and so far we have mind. If this situation is continued 2-3 months, we will need another hospital, but so far it's okay. So let's use this moment to redirect the force of the situation. All the time we are practice Aikido since we start like beginners, and then we continued like teachers. All the time somebody tell us, or we tell somebody, redirect the power of your opponent, right? Well, now we have a pure situation, no power against us. So let's try to go deep and deep and deep inside us and start to research I like this question too much. Who am I? And some other questions like why I was born in this moment, why I have this chance to live in this moment and stuff like this. So we definitely have chance to keep ourselves very busy. And of course, no give up, because if we say, okay, where is virus? Okay, get me, fuck me, get me sick. Probably 99% this will happen, because physically a condition of the body is directly connecting with the spiritual condition. So let's try to keep our spirit very strong, and develop ourselves in a different level. I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure, after this bullshit situation is gone, and we start to practice Aikido again, our Aikido will be definitely completely different than before. Absolutely sure about this, because we'll understand very clear that body is not everything, that the physical power is not everything. And even your rookie is not so important for you, because the only one important thing you have, by my understanding, and this is yourself. So once we get this idea, once we understand that actually in Aikido practice, we are alone and we need to polish ourselves first, then we'll start to understand things like a relation, communication, then love, then all these fine feelings we never asked ourselves before, because we had muscle, right? So this is my very deep understanding about the situation right now. That this is gift from Buddha, or a gift from God, or from who else, from heaven, to going from outside bullshits like who is the best Aikido teacher, do you have a 6 dan or 7 dan or shit like this, to go and understand yourself, to go deep and deep and deep into yourself and to get the profits you will never have it before. So I really, really, really deeply believe that this situation is a gift for us. And, you know, I'm not so smiling person, I don't. But every morning when I wake up and I'm still healthy, I'm start to smiling because right now I understand what it means to be healthy also. Because before, to be healthy means for me to fly, to make money, to beat people, to do some stupid things. And right now, for me, to be healthy and to be still alive means completely different. This means that I still have chance to change myself and to understand myself. And then after that, I will have even more chance to understand people around me. And then after this, I will start to talk about Aikido again. But Aikido in a completely different way. And yeah, because of this reason, the video recording cameras and cell phones is so good because using them before, we have recording ourselves before. And then watching these selves before, we can smile even more. Because by my understanding, we was very funny people before. And what will happen in the future, this is also very interesting. I believe that together with our Aikido practice, which will be never the same before again, our life will be completely different. And I'm not talking about future inflation, future money troubles, even for people who dying every day. But I mean that after this big fight, the people who will survive will start to feel and hear the most fine sounds and feelings in the world, and this will give them chance to be better persons, and of course better small parts of society. And I'm strongly believe that after this fucking bullshit, we'll have a better society, countries, governments, and futures. So one more time, I'm not. Of course, I'm Zen priest, and I know how to talk 24 hours without any stopping. But I'm not like church people, which will telling you, wait, that God will save you or stuff like this. Not me. I will telling you, and I'll finish with this so far. Uh, just believe in yourself. Keep yourself pure and clean, and try to go deep in yourself and deep understanding about yourself, and you will have a lot of profits from this. Some people say pandemia, some people say biologic war, but for me, this is just another chance to become a better person than before. So yeah, I may talk a lot, but yeah, let's finish so far.
Thank you, Sensei. I asked everybody to prepare a question. Is there somebody who wants to jump in with something that's been on your mind?
Actually, Sensei, I have a question regarding what you were just saying. If you could speak a little bit more about, you mentioned, our Aikido and our practice will never be the same after something like this. If there's ever been a time, or not if, but if there's a time you'd like to talk about, or what do you see changing for your Aikido and your practice with an event like this, and with everyone being isolated and all this internet connection? How do you feel that the future may be, or what do you see coming?
Okay, good question. I'm thinking about this stuff every day a lot. So first, to be a little funny and joking a little bit, I will say that if we survive after these virus attacks and health problems and stuff like this, our Aikido will be so strong. So we'll be able to throwing people without touching, like a yeah, but just to have a little small fun. But the question is very good, and I'll answer you also very seriously. By my deep understanding and believing, in this moment, you will be saved from the virus, from psychological stress, from crazy people around you, and from everything's going with the situation, only if you understand that you have the best cure in the world, but till this moment, maybe you never use it. And this cure is to become from outside and start to be part of your center. You know, everybody says center this, center that, keep your center, move your center, and the center will draw, and this is continued every training, every single part of the world. But how many people heard this? I'm pretty sure almost nobody. Everybody have feeling that Aikido is throwing people strongly by arms, by power, by muscle and stuff like this. But if you understand what this means to have strong center, this means that your body will be healthy because your body will be a correct balancing. Because person without center, he was shaking all the time. I mean, not physically shaking like this, but mentally shaking. Once your mind start to shake like this, you're ready to get sick. Maybe not from virus, but from some craziness. So first will be definitely change it in our Aikido practice. This will be, we'll start to practice with center finally. The second one, I believe, will happen. This will be a very fine feeling about the uki, because right now we are missing social contacts. I don't know for what about you, but for me, and I'm not the social person in the world. Before, I was liking to stay alone, and I don't care what's going on around me too much. But right now, I just want to go on the street and huge the first person I meet on the street. And I'm honest with this, which means that if we are smart enough and remember this feeling, our contact with the partner, with Duque, later when we start to practice in real, not talking by Zoom, our feeling will be completely different. Our relation will be 100% completely different. And this will make our Aikido 100% different, will be more clear, will be more, how I say, powerful, but not physically powerful, but powerful because of the true relations. And then this will change immediately. Our relation outside of the dojo, which is Aikido too, you know, you will start to love your old mother more than before. Because, for example, I didn't see my mother last 3 weeks. I just called her time to time because she was sick and the government forbid her to, go out from the home. And of course, she's okay right now, but there is a 3 weeks quarantine, or how is the word? I'm not sure. We are forbidden to meet each other. So, and and right now, I love her so much, much more than before. But what about my daughter? My daughter is living in Vienna. This is 8 hours driving by car from Sofia. She's forbidden to stay in Vienna. Vienna and Austria is like a US. They have something like 1,000 people dying and sick and stuff like this. And she stay alone, and I couldn't help her. And I'm not happy about this, but this also push inside myself a big love to her. So after finish this, Aikido will be everywhere. And I suspect that the finally dream of all sensei, Aikido to be true love, will be in the real. Because people will understand finally what this means, true love. Because to say, I love you, this doesn't mean anything actually. This means a good start for relation, or good way to put girl in the bed or stuff like this. But after this kind of situation we have right now, and surviving and missing people we love, we understand what the true love means. Then our Aikido practice will be with the body, with spirit, with center, with the big love for the person against you, and with big love to yourself, which is the most important by my understanding. So this is my answer.
Thank you, Sensei.
You're welcome.
Other questions out there?
No question. Okay, let's go.
Oh, come on.
No, sorry. I thought I'm using that app and I tried to use the hand raise thing. I was trying to be professional. When you have these Zoom meetings and all these different spaces, it's hard to know what the etiquette is. But Sensei, you really brought up something that was interesting, which is that this is a gift. And a lot of times we spend like, you see it all the time. There's a 30-day challenge. There's a 21-day challenge. There's a 2-week challenge to do something that people feel is important to them. And now we have this space, like for us in Illinois, we have the entire month of April to stay at home. And like yourself, and I know this isn't true for everybody, but for me, for health, in terms of my living standard and so forth, I'm fine. But I also find myself struggling because it's like I can't get out, I can't do the things that bring me joy, et cetera, et cetera. So then I went back to like your book as we were preparing for this conversation, and you brought it up, these questions about who am I, why was I born, what do I want with my life, and can I make it happen? the hardest thing is and I don't know, I can only speak for myself. I have all these resources, right? Like I have teachings from Toyota Sensei, I have teachings from you, teachings from other senseis, Kasanzo Sensei, etc. I have these books, I have all these references, we have the internet. But the hardest thing for me is cultivating the discipline to do this without somebody else like without there being another person that I'm responsible to. Just like you were saying with Uke. So there's no dojo to go to, there's no gym to go to, there's no job to go to. Everything is at home on my own time. And so I struggle with the discipline to be productive in a way that is, or to be routine, to be disciplined, to focus on the things, like you said, that will cultivate myself. My question is, how do you start that first step? How do you develop that initial discipline to focus on what matters in this time where you have the space to do what the most important work is?
Okay. Well, you do zazen, right?
Aye, Sensei.
Time to time before, yeah?
Aye, Sensei.
Yeah. So can you remember the feeling when you go for the first time, for your first zazen, you sit on the floor, everything is brand new for you. Like, people is built to walk, not to sit. But you're sitting, and the position is not so comfortable, but you must do this. And then this teacher in the front of you is never ringing the bell, which is so terrible. But then after this, you must practice another hour and another hour, especially if you stay in session. So this feeling that you do not understand what is going on around you and how to use it, you already have in your life many, many times. But probably the feeling was opposite, because you have so many different options. Like if you're boring in your home, just go with car in a bar, drink beer, or go practice aikido, or just walk in a backyard, or do this or whatever, everything you want. And because of this freedom, you never do important things, because the full freedom means a lot of different things. And then you have a great excuse to say, okay, I was so busy to do nothing and I missed time to do something. Okay, let's change the situation, the life change situation. And now we have situation, we have the whole time in the world, and we cannot do nothing like a stupid things we are doing before. So, okay, you say I couldn't organize myself, but this is completely the same like you stay in zazen and in your mind you have 1,000,000 things, like for soup, for children, for garden, for car, for government, for woman, for everything, right? And teacher trying to give you way to start to make less and less and less and less these million things in your head. And this is the reason the normal Zen teacher first class will say to you, start to count from 1 to 10. Because in this way, he will just separate million things in your head, and he will give you chance only for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. Okay, so then after this, you're already organized in 10 different ways. But then good teacher will telling you, okay, count only 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 40 minutes meditation all the time. Count yourself only 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So from 10 to 2 is 8, right? So in a very easy way, you can eliminate 8 bushes around you, and then you will have only 2 important things. Then you will have chance to choose them. So now is time to choose important things, like which one is number one for you. And this is so easy. You know, for some people, this means family. For some people, means myself. For some people, means drink vodka every night. But this is easy because you have only 2 choices, not a million like before. So use this situation to ask yourself not who you are, but which is 2 most important things for you. You want to finish it before governments say you're free. And once governments say you're free, actually you will go in a prison of the freedom. Do you understand me?
I Sensei.
Okay, baby. Is this good answer for your question? If not, I will keep trying.
No, no. That was extremely helpful. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's
Two things.
two
Just
things.
and once you find them, don't move your mind left and right, up and down. Just directing the center of the thing number one, directing the center of the thing number two, and push them, push them, push them till you just finish this job. Then once, if number one for you means to finish your doctor work or whatever, or some kind of important book like me, once you finish this, and once you finish number two, then fix another two. Then your day will have a reason. Your day will be wonderful because you will wake up not with the feeling that you're in the prison. And do you know what the prison make to the people?
No.
Take the reason of life.
Mm.
This is the most difficult feeling if you are in the prison to accept. So don't accept. You have freedom to choose. Number one, number two. Finish number one, number two, then another one and two. Then you will be very surprised after, I'm not dreamer. I know that the fucking government will continue it after end of May, probably till the 15th of June, or maybe till the end of September, who knows. But this doesn't mean that I need to be like a soldier 1 month before my working for the government finish it, and I start to say, okay, another 29 days, another 28 days, another 27 days, and once I have 15 days, I will get sick here. No, you must have a target, number one, number two, finish the job, then another one and two, then another one and two. Then after 30 days, probably you will have finished 5 or 6 things you never expect even to start them. So this means not organizing your day, but this means positive way of thinking and deeply understand what the zazen means. Because this situation is like a session. Session, 7 day session. 7 day session means 7 days do nothing. But you're free to do nothing, but you're forbidden everything else, like going outside the door. You couldn't smoke cigars. You couldn't drink whiskey. Just be free to do nothing. Completely the same situation. But nobody stopping session after 1 day and say, fuck, I don't want to do this. You know, everybody doing day by day, hour after hour, because of the reason. Your reason must be number one, number two. Okay, you're a professor, doctor, and you're probably smarter than me. So maybe your reason will be one, two, three. You know, but I suggest you to have this kind of way of thinking, and you will be very, very organized person, and you will finish a lot of things, and then after finish this bullshit situation, you will go out with the big profit. But the profit will be not because you finish one, two, three, and four, but because you understand what this means to understand yourself, to organize yourself, to work with yourself because of the reason. And this means happiness for me, you know. This is a pure happiness because in a normal situation, this almost never happen. Let's be honest.
Oh, true.
So my mother called me 10 times, but yeah, next one, or no question.
I could ask a question. Hopefully it's a quick answer. I'm sorry to keep you sensei, but I had a question about awareness. So this is Marcus. I'm
Okay.
sorry I don't have my camera on, but
Yes, baby.
maybe I can. Well, no, I better keep it off for the connection. So my question was about awareness and being confined to the same space for such a long period of time. I think psychologically it's easy to get used to know what to expect from your surroundings. And I find, at least personally, it's much easier to practice awareness when you are outside, when you are in new situations, when there's new information around you. I was wondering if you had any advice or suggestions for staying aware in a very static situation.
So question is?
How can I stay aware in a situation, in a physical environment that is always the same?
Well, look, let's first talk about the choice. This is a little far away, far away from your question, but I'll make connection later. So once you take your choice, like I take my choice to be a Aikido teacher, and then this pushed me to fly, to lose my family, stuff like this. But this was my choice, and I like my choice. So your choice was to go in Italy, to enjoy the culture, to study in one of the best universities in Europe, and to enjoy the food and the atmosphere, and Italy is a great country. Everybody knows this. So your choice was to be in this place, right? First answer your question is this is your choice. The second one, okay, physical, static, staying in one place alone and wait something to happen and fucking TV all the time, talking bullshits and radio and yeah. But let's talk about the choice again. If you take choice to be in the prison of your home, you will be. If you take choice to go outside for any kind of reason, like get sick or support dying people, or go in a hospital like a volunteer, or just run on the streets for the good physical condition. This is also your choice, right? So make your choice, but you must know something important. You already know probably, but let's say again, especially in Italy, like a statistic, people which dying is old people and with the second sickness, like a heart problem or diabetic or stuff like this. So you're young, you're very healthy, and you have chance to get sick, or if you get sick, you have chance to be dead, something like 0.0000001 maybe. So you don't need to stay in your home. Okay, you will say your government, not your government, but Italian government forbidding you to go outside, right? Because in Bulgaria is this situation. We don't have permission to go outside without the reason, like a food, pharmacy, stuff like this. Is this the same in Italy?
Yes, same situation.
Yeah. So tell me something. Who forbidden you to be free in your mind? Do you want me
Nobody.
to
Nobody, Sensei.
Who forbidden you? Which kind of government will forbidden you to be free in your mind?
None, Sensei.
You understand me?
Yes.
So anything like I'm staying in my home so many days, and I'm depressing because of this, and I want to go outside, but I couldn't because police will give me penalty or something like this. Is just words. I mean, this is physical words. But my question is about the mind freedom. So try to be free in your mind, even stay in your cage, like apartment or room or whatever is your place for staying. So it's difficult. But do you know why it's so difficult? Because we never practiced this before. When we even go in session, I'm not talking for you, and I'm not talking for me, but 50% from the people which going for session, they going for fun. They going because of they boring. They have free weekend. They have free money for losing, and okay, let's go for session. But right now, life gives us a real session, and we don't have any chance to change the reason, because the reason is a question about the life and death. So we must stay inside, we must stay healthy, physically and psychologically, and nobody can tell us that we are not free. So try to be free in your mind. Do meditation, do breathings. If you need some advices, just call me, make Zoom, whatever, Skype. I will give you another advices. And you will have a good reason to stay in your home, because you will start to educate yourself and using the situation for positive things. Once you start to do this, you will never start to ask yourself things like, for forbidden prison. I want to be free because you will be free in your mind. I know very well that the situation in Italy is completely fucked up. I don't know which part of Italy you stay in. I hope not north. Which part?
It's not that bad. I'm in Bologna, but it's the same situation logistically throughout the whole country.
Yeah. Well, still, I give you advice to try to be free in your mind, to clear your mind from all difficult thinking, and just be free, man. It's easy to say from Bulgaria, we have only 10 people dying, but this is all I can do for you. So.
No, thank you. It was a very helpful response. Thank you, Sensei.
We have time for at least one more question. So if anybody has one you want to get in, this is our chance.
So I am not trapped in my home. I have a lot of land that I can be out in, and in that way, I am very fortunate. But from being still, I have noticed, I've noticed some of my age. I am not 20 anymore, and I'm not moving as much every day without Aikido. So how, as you have gotten older and wiser, how have you found the same intensity in your training in a body that's not as young? Does that make sense?
Yeah. This is a good question. If this is the whole question, this is a good question.
Yes, it is a simple one.
So, I know you're not so young, you're not 20, you're 26, right?
Not quite.
Okay, 27, I understand. So, when you ask this question, don't forget who you're asking this question. Because I will be very soon, I hope, I will be very soon 54.
Mm-hmm.
And just before 3 days, I take a challenge from a guy from another Bulgarian organization. He challenged all 6 dans in Bulgaria to make 50-mile kemi without stopping. And I was first person who make 51 without any stopping. And I'm almost 54. Physical part of Aikido is just for beginners. This is just for stupid young guys which doesn't understand what the real Aikido practice means. This kind of practice is like for the persons like me before 10 or 15 or 20 years with the muscle like this, with craziness like this, with the ego like Vitusha mountain, and but not for us. You say you're not so young anymore. Okay, I understand. But this is your chance to start finally to practice the real Aikido. I didn't say anything for your Aikido practice before. Everybody give their best, everybody practice as strong they want and understand. But now is the time to understand this is for everybody, not only for you. Now is time to understand, all of us, that Aikido created from O-sensei is far, far, far away from Aikido we was practiced before. So this is our chance to forget our sick body. You know, I have a 12, how is the English name? Hernias through my body. And I'm keep doing Aikido. So it's possible. But now is the time to start to give chance our spirit, our energy, our center, our mind to start to going out of so small physical body and start to fly around. And I didn't say to get dying and you know to go to the better place. I'm talking about the real Aikido practice with the some part physical using, but the most part using this one. Did you see? Heart, mind, and spirit. This is our big chance. And because we will finish probably very soon, this is for everybody. Take this situation like a gift. Okay, maybe some of us will die from virus, maybe all of us will survive, but who cares, you know, someday we will die anyway. So don't care about shit like, am I, you know, have a virus or am I dying or what's going on or world going down and we will all die. No, just be like a bull and move your head in the front like bull and just run away directly against the problem. And don't forget that the problem is not outside you. So turn yourself and smash your ego, smash your stupidness, smash your even physique, and start to understand that you are what you are. You couldn't be a muscle guy like Arnold Schwarzenegger. By the way, this guy start to be very smart once he get old. I'm watching his speeches. His speeches is very smart, by the way. So fight against yourself, get profit from the situation, keep your strong spirit, and give part of your spirit to the people around you. I know that you have meetings every day with friends, with father and mothers and friends and everybody. So give them part of this power, and this will be a way we will survive much more easy in this situation. And then, if we learn this lesson, we'll survive in any future situation happening in our life. So we'll be like a, you know, like a Superman in the future. We'll fly around and we'll doing good things, and you know, love will be everywhere, and everything will be like a smiles and roses. Did you see? Smile. Everybody's smiling.
Sensei, thank you so much for taking this time.
This is my part of the job, to make people smile. And don't forget this. Most of you are leaders. Most of you have responsibilities to running dojo people and things like this. So keep their faith. Smile, extend your positive energy, and let's finish with very simple and very important thing. Fuck the virus.
Hi, Sensei.
Hi, Sensei.
Fuck the virus. And of course, I love you.